If you don't know why you're doing what you're doing, it's only a matter of time before you feel lost. That's the truth about life. You can be busy every single day. You can work hard, make money, look successful, but still feel empty inside. Why? Because you never stopped to ask the most important question. What's my purpose? Not what others expect from you. Not what looks good on paper, but what you were actually meant to do. If you've ever felt like something's missing, this is the reason. Finding your purpose isn't about chasing motivation or copying what everyone else is doing. It's about slowing down, facing your truth, and asking some hard but necessary questions. Who are you? What do you care about? What's worth your time, your energy, your life? Most people avoid these questions. That's why they stay stuck. But if you're ready to stop drifting and start living with direction, this video will show you how, step by step. Real talk, real answers. Stay with this and walk away with something that finally makes sense. Number 1, face your life and stop pretending you're fine. That's the first honest step toward finding your purpose. You can't build anything real on top of something fake, and pretending that everything is okay when it isn't, will keep you stuck in the same place for the next year, maybe the next 10 years. Some people go their whole lives acting like they're fine when they're not. That's not strength. That's delay. You have to sit down with yourself and look your life in the eye. Not the version you tell people, not the version you show on social media, and not the version you explain away. I'm talking about the real version, the one that shows up at night when you're by yourself, when everything's quiet and there's nobody to impress. You want to find your purpose? Then you need to stop hiding from the truth. Because if you keep hiding, you won't move forward. And life will not wait for you to catch up. It just moves on, with or without you. It rewards the ones who are honest with themselves. And that honesty, it's not easy. It's not supposed to be easy. It's supposed to challenge you. It's supposed to hurt a little. That's how you know you're getting close to something real. You can't keep telling yourself that you're fine if your days are filled with boredom, frustration, confusion, or regret. That's not fine. That's pain with a mask on it. And it's hard to admit when you're not okay, especially when you've been the strong one, the one people rely on, the one who always keeps it together. But there's no progress in pretending. There's no breakthrough in denial. You don't grow by faking strength. You grow by facing weakness and choosing to rise above it. Start by asking some real questions. Are you proud of your life right now? Are you excited to wake up and do what you do each day? Or are you just going through the motions, filling time, hoping something changes? If the answer makes you uncomfortable, that means you've just opened the door to change. It means you're finally paying attention. Facing your life means you look at your finances, your relationships, your health, your work, everything, and ask, is this what I really want? Not is this normal? Not is this what everyone else is doing? But is this what I truly want? Because your purpose isn't hiding somewhere in the outside world. It's waiting inside you. But you'll never find it if you're too busy running from reality. You have to take inventory of your life. What are you doing that drains you? Who are you around that makes you feel small or stuck? What routines are keeping you numb? The longer you keep saying I'm fine to things that are breaking you down, the longer you stay disconnected from the path you're supposed to be on. That path demands a better version of you. And to become that version, you need to drop the act. You don't need to have everything figured out today, but you do need to stop lying to yourself about where you are. Maybe you're tired all the time. Maybe you've stopped dreaming. Maybe your days feel empty, even though you're busy. That's not what life was made for. Life wasn't designed for endless survival. It was made for creation, for growth, for contribution. And you can't contribute when you're stuck in self-denial. You can't build when you're hiding from your own life. You need to say to yourself, enough. No more pretending. No more faking it just to get through another day. That kind of conversation with yourself, it changes everything. It doesn't make the journey easy, but it makes it real. And when life gets real, things start to move. Clarity shows up. Energy comes back. You stop spending so much time keeping up appearances and start spending that energy building something true. Purpose isn't found in comfort. It's found when you confront what's not working. It's built in the moments where you choose courage over convenience. And the truth is, your life may need some changes. You might need to leave some habits behind, You might need to separate yourself from people who aren't helping you grow. You might need to admit that the direction you've been going isn't the one you really believe in. That's not failure. That's progress. That's strength. And don't wait for permission. Nobody's gonna come knock on your door and hand you your purpose. Nobody's gonna tell you it's time to start living for something bigger. That decision is yours. That responsibility is yours. You have one life, just one. It doesn't matter what you've wasted so far. What matters is that you stop wasting now. There are people out there who are watching you, whether you know it or not. Someone is learning from how you live. Someone is being influenced by your standards. And if you show up fake, they learn to do the same. But if you get honest, if you get real, if you show them that it's okay to face your life and rebuild from truth, you give them permission to do the same. That's how change spreads. That's how lives change. One honest decision at a time. And the thing is, you're not as far off as you think. You're probably just one hard conversation with yourself away from clarity. One strong decision away from momentum. But you'll never get there if you keep acting like everything's fine. So stop saying you're okay if you're not. Stop smiling on the outside while falling apart inside. Stop carrying the weight of pretending. It's too heavy and it's not helping you anymore. You don't need to be perfect to start. You don't need to have it all mapped out. You just need to be honest. You just need to say, this is where I am, and this is not where I'm going to stay. That's how purpose begins. Not in the books, not in the theories, right there in the decision to stop pretending and face your life. And when you do, you'll be surprised how much power comes back. You'll feel the difference in your energy. You'll speak with more confidence. You'll walk with more direction. Not because someone else gave it to you, but because you decided to stop lying and start building. That's where purpose lives. In truth, in effort, in the real work of turning your life into something that means something. So don't wait. Look your life in the eye. All of it. The pain, the mess, the mistakes, the wins, the potential. It's all yours. It's your story. And the next chapter doesn't have to look like the last one. But it starts when you stop pretending you're fine and finally decide to write something better. Number 2, ask what you can do that actually matters. Most people spend years doing things that don't mean anything to them. They wake up, follow a routine, check boxes, and keep themselves busy, but they never stop to ask what actually matters. If you're trying to find your purpose, you have to stop copying what everyone else is doing. You have to look at your own life and ask yourself, what can I do today that truly matters to me? Not what pleases others, not what keeps you safe, but what moves something inside you. Purpose doesn't come from noise. It comes from clarity. And clarity begins with asking the right question. You don't need to chase everything. You only need to pursue what brings meaning. But that means cutting out the distractions. Not every opportunity is meant for you. Not every task is worth your time. You need to pause and sort through your life. What are you doing right now that has no long-term value? If it doesn't add to who you're becoming, it's pulling you away from your purpose. That's the truth most ignore. The clock is ticking. And if you don't decide what matters, you'll keep living by someone else's priorities. People often confuse busyness with progress. Just because your schedule is full doesn't mean you're building anything real. You can work every hour of the day and still feel empty at night. That's the warning sign. Purpose doesn't drain you. It might exhaust you physically, but it fills you up emotionally. It gives you reason. It gives your day direction. But you can't feel that if you never stop long enough to ask, is what I'm doing helping me grow? That one question separates people who find purpose from those who keep spinning in circles. Ask yourself what problems you actually care about. If you're serious about finding purpose, then get serious about your values. What upsets you? What do you wish would change in the world? What skill or strength do you have that could help make it better? These questions are not just for reflection. They're a mirror. They show you who you are and what you care about. If you want purpose, you must look beyond comfort and convenience. You must want to serve, to create, to contribute, not just survive. That's where your answer lives. It lives in service and effort. You won't find your purpose by doing what's easy. The things that matter often come with struggle, but they leave you stronger. If you avoid difficulty, you avoid growth. And without growth, you never get close to what matters. Stop avoiding the uncomfortable parts of your life. That's usually where your purpose is hiding. It's not in the things you already know. It's in the questions you've been avoiding. the efforts you haven't made, and the work you keep putting off. Start there. Look directly at what you know you need to do, but haven't done. That's your direction. The truth is, you already know what matters more than you admit. You've had moments when something felt right, when you helped someone, when you built something, when you pushed yourself beyond what you thought you could handle. Those moments didn't just feel good. They felt important. That's not coincidence. That's your life trying to speak to you, and you've probably ignored it. But if you want purpose, you need to remember those moments. Revisit them. Ask yourself why they mattered so much. What did they bring out of you? What did they reveal about what you're meant to do? Forget about what sounds impressive. Forget about what other people think is meaningful. This is your life. If something matters to you, it's worth pursuing. Purpose is personal. You can't borrow someone else's version of it. You can learn from others, yes, but in the end, you have to build your own path, and you build it by choosing what matters over what's easy. Every single day you have a choice. You can waste time, or you can invest it in something meaningful. It doesn't have to be big, but it has to be real. It has to matter. When your life feels flat, it's not because you lack potential. It's because you haven't committed to something meaningful. Purpose demands commitment, not temporary interest, not half-hearted effort, full focus, full energy. You have to choose it, and keep choosing. Even on the days you feel tired, even when no one's watching, you will only feel alive when you know you're building something you actually care about. And that's the work you must do now. Find what matters, name it, then give yourself to it. Piece by piece, day by day. That's how you get your strength back. Start today. Sit down and write what matters to you. Not what you think you're supposed to want, what you truly care about. Write it without fear, without filters. You don't have to show anyone, but you need to know it. Your life needs. Without that clarity, you'll keep walking in circles. You'll keep waking up to days that don't mean anything. That's not how you're supposed to live. That's not how you find purpose. You find it by getting serious about your values and aligning your actions to match. That's what matters now. So ask again, right now, what can you do that actually matters? What would make you feel proud at the end of today? What would move your life forward? What would help someone else? Don't ignore the answer just because it's uncomfortable. Don't wait until next year to make the change. Your future is shaped by what you choose to care about right now. Choose with courage, choose with honesty, and choose with urgency. Because if you don't decide what matters, life will decide for you, and you may not like where that leads. Choose what matters, starting now. Number 3, write down your regrets and learn from them fast. If you're serious about finding your purpose, you need to stop running from your regrets and start learning from them. Regrets are not there to shame you. They're there to wake you up. Most people carry them in silence, hoping they'll fade with time. But they don't disappear. They sit there in the background, slowing you down. If you want clarity in your life, you need to face your past decisions, write them down, and study them. Not to stay stuck in them, but to see what they were trying to teach you. That's how you begin to grow. When you write down your regrets, they stop being this heavy weight you carry alone in your head. On paper, they become real. You can see them for what they are. Decisions, missed chances, wasted time, wrong directions. And once they're out in front of you, now you can learn something useful. You can ask, why did I do that? Or what was I trying to avoid? That process gives you understanding. Without understanding, you repeat the same patterns, but with it, you gain control. Purpose grows when you stop blaming the past and start using it as a tool for change. Some people avoid this exercise because it's painful, and it is. Looking at your own mistakes is not easy, but it's necessary, because hidden inside those moments you regret are signals, proof of what matters to you. If you regret not standing up for yourself, maybe your purpose involves courage. If you regret wasting time, maybe your calling is tied to discipline. These aren't just regrets. They're clues. Each one points to a value you've ignored. And if you're paying attention, they help you see who you were supposed to be all along. Writing them down also stops the lies. It's easy to pretend everything's fine when you don't deal with your past. But deep down, you know what you've avoided. You know where you let yourself down. And that silent knowing creates distance between where you are and where you want to be. Purpose isn't found in perfection. It's found in owning your flaws, taking full responsibility, and deciding to do better from here on out. You're not supposed to forget your past. You're supposed to learn from it. Quickly, honestly, and without excuses. One of the reasons people don't feel purposeful is because they've never cleaned up the mess behind them. They try to build their future while dragging unresolved pain with them. You can't move forward while ignoring what's holding you back. Purpose demands emotional clarity. You need to know what you carry, and you need to know why you carry it. When you write it out, you get to separate what's useful from what's not. You stop giving power to pain that no longer serves you, and you start choosing direction over distraction. And you don't need a perfect plan to start, just a pen, a paper, and some honesty. Write what you regret. Be specific. Don't generalize or sugarcoat it. Then next to each one, write what it taught you. That's the power move. That's where change begins. It's not about judging yourself. It's about understanding yourself. The fastest way to purpose is through self-awareness, and self-awareness grows every time you tell the truth, especially to yourself. You can't grow from what you won't face, and you can't heal from what you refuse to name. Some regrets might still hurt. Some might bring up shame or guilt. That's okay. The goal is not to avoid the pain. The goal is to use it. Pain is a powerful teacher. If you pay attention, it sharpens your mind and makes you stronger. But if you ignore it, it grows and controls you. Learning from your regrets isn't weakness, it's maturity. It's a sign that you're ready to take your life seriously, that you're ready to stop pretending and start becoming the person you were always meant to be. There's nothing soft about this work. It takes grit to admit where you've failed. It takes courage to write it down and ask what it means. Most people don't do it. They'd rather stay busy and avoid the truth. That's why they stay lost. That's why they never feel satisfied. Purpose doesn't come from pretending you have it all together. It comes from putting the broken pieces on the table and building something better with what you've got left. You still have time, but you have to start now. Regret doesn't need to be a prison. It can be a map. Purpose is built on progress, and progress comes when you stop waiting for the perfect moment and start using what you've learned. Every regret you write down is part of your story, but it doesn't define you. It shapes you. It gives you insight into what kind of life you no longer want, and it helps you create a better one. That's the real win. Not avoiding mistakes, but using them to become more honest, more focused, more committed. If you want your life to matter, then everything you've lived through has to mean something. That's what gives you strength. Now is the time. Grab a pen, write down what still bothers you, and don't leave anything out. This is not about shame. It's about clarity. The faster you learn, the sooner you move forward. Don't wait for the perfect mood or the right day. Purpose won't wait for you. It shows up for those who are willing to do the hard work. Look back, learn fast, and move forward with power. That's how people change. That's how direction is built. You are not stuck. You're just one honest conversation away from becoming someone better. Start with what you regret. Number 4. Look around and admit what's wasting your time. If you're serious about finding your purpose, then the first thing you need to do is look at how you spend your time. Not what you tell others, but what you actually do. Time is your most valuable resource, and once it's gone, it's not coming back. Every hour you spend on something useless is an hour you'll never get again. Purpose starts with awareness, and if you don't know where your time is going, you'll never know why you feel lost. You can't build a meaningful life when your time is being stolen by things that give you nothing back. You need to sit with yourself and take full inventory. Look at the shows you binge, the hours you scroll, the people you keep entertaining even when you know they're not helping you grow. Be brutally honest about what's stealing your focus. There's no progress without truth. Distractions are silent killers. They don't ruin your life in a day, but they do it slowly, one wasted hour at a time. You think it's harmless until 5 years go by and you realize nothing changed. And it won't change until you start valuing every single hour like it matters. Ask yourself, what is this doing for me? That simple question applied to your routine can transform everything. Does that conversation lead anywhere? Does that content teach you something? Does that habit support the life you say you want? If the answer is no, it needs to go. People get stuck, not because they lack purpose, but because they refuse to cut the noise. Purpose requires space. Space to think, space to reflect, space to build. You can't hear what matters if you're drowning in what doesn't, and most people are. That's why they stay stuck. Time wasters come in many forms. Some are obvious: too much entertainment, too much gossip, too many comfort routine. Others look productive on the outside but lead nowhere. Endless planning with no action. Helping everyone else while neglecting your own life. Saying yes to every request out of guilt. You have to get clear on what serves your future and what's just filling time. Filling time isn't the same as using it. One leads to results, the other just makes you tired. If you want to find your purpose, energy must go where progress is possible. The truth is, you already know what's wasting your time. You just haven't admitted it to yourself. Maybe because it feels good in the moment. Maybe because you don't want to offend anyone. Or maybe because change feels uncomfortable. But ignoring it won't protect you from the consequences. Every wasted day becomes a regret tomorrow. That's the cost. And if you want a different life, you must pay attention to what's stealing your minutes. Because your minutes become your months, and your months become your story. Change starts when you stop pretending your distractions are harmless. No one will come clean it up for you. This is your job, your life, your responsibility. You get one shot at this, and how you use your time defines how your life turns out. That's the bottom line. You can't find your purpose in a scattered life. You need structure, discipline, and clarity. And clarity begins with removing what doesn't belong. This is not about becoming perfect. This is about being aware enough to say, this thing right here is wasting my potential, and then doing something about it. Awareness without action leads nowhere. Start small if you need to. Pick one habit, cut it, replace it with something useful. Maybe it's reading, maybe it's learning, maybe it's just quiet thinking time. It doesn't have to be big, it just has to be real. Time redeems itself when used with intention. The moment you take back even one wasted hour and turn it into something purposeful, your confidence starts coming back. You stop feeling like life is passing you by. You start to feel in control again. That's the difference between surviving the day and owning your time. And don't expect everyone to understand your shift. When you start cutting out distractions, some people will take it personally. Let them. You're not here to live by their expectations. You're here to build a life that matters to you. Purpose comes with sacrifice. You will lose things that never mattered and gain things that always did. But it's a process that begins with truth. Nothing changes until you admit what's wasting your time. You can read every book and watch every video, but if you don't fix how you manage time, nothing meaningful sticks. Think about this. 10 years from now, do you want to look back and be proud of how you used your time? Or do you want to wonder where it all went? That's not a small question. It's a powerful one. Every day you ignore what's wasting your life is a day you move further from the person you were supposed to become. That purpose you keep talking about, it's not found in dreams. It's built in your calendar. It's shaped by what you do, hour by hour. This is your moment to take it back. So take a deep look around your life. Who takes your energy but gives nothing back? What habits keep you busy but leave you empty? What parts of your day lead nowhere? You don't need anyone's permission to change. You just need to admit what's true, then do something about it. Remove the things that distract you. Focus only on what adds value. If it doesn't help you grow, it doesn't belong. That's how purpose begins. Not with a big plan, but with one decision to stop wasting time and start building something real. Number 5, stop copying others and start building your own way. You won't find your purpose by copying someone else's life. That's the hard truth. You can follow their routines, mimic their tone, even try to chase their success, but it still won't be yours. Every time you copy, you trade authenticity for approval. You silence your voice to fit someone else's image, and that's why people feel lost. They keep reaching for something that doesn't belong to them. You can't build your own path by walking someone else's. Purpose is personal. It can't be borrowed. And the longer you delay building your own way, the further you get from your truth. People often look at others and think, if I just do what they're doing, I'll succeed too. But that mindset is the fastest way to stay stuck. You weren't made to duplicate. You were made to contribute. And your contribution can't be found in imitation. It starts with self-awareness. You have to figure out what you're good at, what drives you, what keeps you up at night thinking. If you ignore those things to follow someone else's script, you'll always feel out of place. You'll always wonder why nothing feels right. That feeling is your life trying to redirect you. Stop chasing someone else's approval and start asking yourself, what feels right for you? Not what looks good online, not what impresses others, what feels aligned with your values, your energy, and your personality. That's where your path begins. Not in the image others project, but in the quiet space where you stop pretending. You don't need a crowd to confirm your direction. You need clarity. And clarity comes when you stop performing. Copying looks safe, but it's empty. You might avoid failure for a while, but you'll never feel fulfilled doing what doesn't reflect who you are. Trying to fit into someone else's mold drains your confidence. You start doubting your own instincts. You question your voice. You hesitate when you should be acting. And slowly, your identity fades into the background. You become a shadow in someone else's spotlight. That's no way to live. If you want to feel strong, you have to reclaim your identity. Start saying no to things that don't fit. Start creating from your own experiences. Your story matters. Your voice matters, and your path is waiting for you to take it seriously. Without comparison, without imitation. Look around and notice how many people are doing the same thing. Same content, same opinions, same language. It's safe, but it's forgettable. Nobody stands out by blending in. If you want to find your purpose, you have to take the risk of being original. That means showing up as yourself, even if it's not polished. It means building something that reflects your values, not someone else's checklist. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to be honest. Honest with what you want, honest with what you're willing to work for. That's where impact begins. You may not have all the answers now, but you have the ability to build. That's what matters. Start from where you are, not where someone else is. Look at your skills, your interests, your struggles. They're the raw materials for your purpose. Use them. Don't wait until you have it all figured out. Action brings clarity. The more you build, the more you understand who you are. The more you create from within, the more your confidence grows. And one day, you'll look back and realize you weren't lost. You were just disconnected from your own potential. You don't need validation to start walking your own path. You just need to believe that your direction is worth pursuing. Nobody can do it for you. Nobody can hand you your purpose. It has to be built with your own two hands. You'll make mistakes, but they'll be yours. You'll have wins, and they'll be real. There's no greater satisfaction than building a life that feels like your own. It's not easy, but it's worth it. You'll feel it every time you wake up with focus. Every time you go to bed, knowing you honored your own journey. Comparison will steal your focus if you don't shut it down. It distracts you with questions that don't matter. Am I good enough? Do they like me? Am I behind? None of that leads you to purpose. Purpose doesn't care about competition. It cares about contribution. What are you doing that brings value to your life and the lives of others? That's the real question. When you stop trying to keep up and start digging deep into who you are, your direction becomes clear. And that clarity leads to strength. That strength builds progress. That's how you rise. Don't be afraid to go a different way, even if no one understands, even if it looks uncertain. The safest path is often the one that leads nowhere. Your path might be messier, it might be slower, but if it's yours, it will be meaningful. You were not made to copy. You were made to create, and creation takes courage. Don't trade your future for comfort. Don't shrink yourself to fit a mold that doesn't serve you. Make the decision to build your life from truth, not fear. That decision changes everything. This is your time to break away from the noise, to stop living through someone else's story, and start writing your own. You are not here to repeat what's already been done. You're here to bring something new, something honest, something that reflects your soul. So stop copying, start building, one step at a time, one honest effort at a time. This is how purpose begins. Not with imitation, but with intention. Not with performance, but with presence. Own your path, walk it fully, and never look back at a life you borrowed instead of built. Number 6. Build a daily routine that shapes your future. If you want to find your purpose, start by looking at your daily routine. What you do every day is either pulling you closer to who you're meant to be or pushing you further away. Purpose isn't some random spark that hits you one day. It's built through consistency. If your days are filled with randomness, your life will feel the same. You can't live on accident and expect clarity. Your routine doesn't need to be perfect. It just needs to be intentional. A solid routine gives you structure, and that structure allows your purpose to take root and grow. The first step is getting honest about your current habits. What time do you wake up? What do you do first thing in the morning? What fills your hours? What do you give your focus to? These questions matter more than most people realize. Because when your life lacks rhythm, you drift. And when you drift, you lose direction. If you're serious about finding your purpose, your day needs to reflect that. A good routine builds discipline, and discipline brings clarity. The more you stay grounded in good habits, the clearer your next step becomes. Most people wait to feel motivated before they do the work. That's a mistake. Purpose doesn't come from waiting. It comes from movement. That's where your routine becomes powerful. It keeps you moving when your emotions get in the way. Some days you won't feel like showing up, but your routine doesn't care. It's there to remind you of what you committed to. You don't need to feel perfect. You just need to follow through. When you repeat small actions that serve your values, they begin to shape your identity. And identity shapes purpose. A good routine keeps you away from distractions. When your day is structured, there's less room for wasting time. You don't just react to everything. You respond with intention. You know what matters and when it needs to happen. And that awareness builds focus. Focus leads to progress. Purpose lives in progress. When you see that you're growing, even just a little, you start believing in the life you're building. That belief pushes you further. But none of it works without structure. You must take control of your schedule before it takes control of you. This doesn't mean you need to plan every minute. It means you need core habits that protect your future. Wake up early, move your body, eat clean, plan your day, spend time in silence, reflect on your goals, study something that makes you stronger. These are not trends. These are tools that sharpen your mind, protect your energy, and keep you aligned with your values. Every strong person you admire has a routine, not because they're better, but because they've decided their time is too valuable to waste. That decision changes everything. When your routine is built with intention, your life starts to simplify. You stop overthinking. You stop chasing everything. You stop feeling like you're falling behind. Because every day becomes a step forward. No matter how small, your goals get clearer. Your energy improves. Your confidence grows. Why? Because you're doing the work. You're not waiting for something to happen. You're making it happen. A powerful routine puts you back in charge of your life. And that's exactly what you need when you're searching for purpose. You need to feel capable. You need to feel in control again. Routines reveal what matters to you. If your days are filled with nonsense, your results will be the same. You can't say you want purpose and then fill your schedule with distractions. The two don't go together. Look at your calendar. Look at your habits. Do they reflect what you say you want? Or are they just comfortable loops you've accepted over time? Comfort kills purpose. Not all at once, but slowly. Through little choices that add up to nothing. Break the cycle. Use your routine to remind yourself that your life has direction, even when it doesn't feel like it. Even if you don't know your exact purpose yet, you can still live with purpose today. You do that by designing your day to serve your future. That's the secret. You don't find your purpose and then build your life. You build your life, and purpose finds you. The right habits attract clarity. The right actions attract meaning. Purpose reveals itself to people who are already moving in the right direction. You don't need to wait until everything makes sense. You just need to start building right now, today, one solid day at a time. Don't complicate it. Start simple. Choose 3 things that make you feel stronger and do them daily. Then build from there. This is not about being perfect. It's about being committed. Commit to growth. Commit to structure. Commit to your time. Your future depends on what you do with today. So take it seriously. Build a routine that reflects who you want to become, and follow it like your life depends on it. Because it does. A great routine isn't just a list of tasks. It's a daily reminder that your life is going somewhere. The truth is, you are not lost. You're just not structured. Once your days begin to align with your deeper values, everything starts to shift. You think clearer. You act with more power. You walk with more certainty. And slowly, purpose stops feeling like a question and starts feeling like a rhythm. It becomes something you live, not something you wait for. That's how you change your life. Not in big moments, but in the small hours that most people waste. Own those hours. Build your day. Shape your future. That's how purpose is found. One disciplined day at a time. Number 7. Look in the mirror and ask who you are. If you want to find your purpose, you need to start with one hard, personal question. Who are you really? Not who people think you are, Not who you pretend to be around others, but who are you when there's no audience, no filter, and no expectations. Look in the mirror, not just to check your face, but to face your truth. If you've been avoiding that reflection, that's the first sign you're disconnected. Purpose begins with self-awareness. You can't create a meaningful life without understanding the person living it. You have to know yourself before you can improve yourself. Ask yourself what you believe in, not what you've been told to believe. What do you actually value? What do you stand for when it's inconvenient? What makes you upset when it's ignored or violated? These are not surface questions. They dig deep, and they're supposed to. That's how purpose is found. By reaching into the part of yourself that isn't shaped by approval. You can't live someone else's idea of who you should be. That's how people get stuck. They follow a version of life that was handed to them instead of one they defined themselves. If the reflection you see in the mirror doesn't match the life you're living, it's time for a change. And not just external change. The inside has to shift first. You need to admit what you've settled for. You need to own the times you've lied to yourself. Not to punish yourself, but to free yourself. Because if you keep pretending, you'll stay disconnected. Real purpose demands real honesty. And that honesty isn't about being harsh. It's about being clear. You have to know what parts of yourself are real and what parts you've borrowed to fit in. Take the time to write it out. Who are you when you're alone? What are you proud of? What are you ashamed of? What dreams keep coming back no matter how much you try to ignore them? The answers are in you, but they're buried under years of noise. You've been distracted. You've been influenced. You've been shaped by people who never took the time to know themselves. Break the cycle. Finding your purpose means rejecting the easy version of yourself and chasing the real one. The version that challenges you to be more. Don't be afraid of what you find. Maybe you've avoided this question because you don't like the answer. That's okay. That discomfort is growth trying to happen. You don't have to be proud of everything, but you do have to face it. Purpose doesn't require perfection. It requires ownership. And once you own your story, you take the power back. Nobody gets to define your identity unless you let them. The person you become will be built on the choices you make after this moment. And that process starts with honesty, not shame. Ask what matters to you, not what makes you money, not what gets applause, what matters deeply enough that you'd pursue it without reward. That answer reveals more about you than any title or position ever will. Purpose doesn't live in your resume, it lives in your character. It shows up in your decisions, in your reactions, in your habits. The more you understand yourself, the less approval you need. You stop chasing people who don't see your value. You stop explaining yourself to those who never cared to listen. You start building from strength, not from doubt. If you're looking for direction, don't search the internet. Search your history. What have you overcome? What have you built through struggle? What lessons have shaped your beliefs? These experiences are not accidents. They're tools. Purpose doesn't come from imagining the future. It comes from understanding your past and using it to create meaning. Stop avoiding your story. Every chapter has a clue. You weren't made to just float through life. You were made to become someone. And becoming that person starts the moment you stop lying to the mirror and start living with intention. This is not a one-day process. It's a decision you make every day. To stop performing, to stop hiding, to stop choosing silence over truth. You can't afford to sleepwalk through life. Too much is at stake. Every day you live without knowing yourself is a day you live without purpose. And that's no way to spend the one life you get. You don't need anyone's permission to begin again. You just need to look in the mirror and decide who you want to become. And start becoming that person, one action at a time. You are not your past mistakes. You are not your failures. You are not what others say about you. But you do become what you tolerate. And if you keep tolerating a version of yourself that doesn't reflect your values, your strength, or your vision, you will stay stuck. The mirror doesn't lie. It shows you exactly where you are, and that's a gift. Because once you know where you are, you can decide where to go next. You don't have to be perfect. You just have to be honest. From that honesty, purpose starts to rise. Today is a chance to do something different. Stand in front of the mirror and ask, not casually, but seriously, who are you? What do you want? What do you believe? What kind of life do you want to build? Ask and wait for the real answer. No filters, no excuses, just truth. And when that truth hits, Don't run from it. Use it. Let it guide your next step. Let it shape your habits, your choices, your standards. That's how you begin. That's how you find what's been missing. That's how you start living with purpose. By knowing who you are. Number 8. Look at your pain and learn what it taught. Everyone wants to find their purpose, but very few want to look at their pain. And that's exactly why most people stay lost. Pain isn't just something that happened to you. It's something that tried to teach you. The problem is, people bury it. They act like it didn't matter. They move on without learning anything. But pain ignored is pain repeated. You can't avoid it forever. If you want to find your purpose, you have to look back at what hurt you. Face it without flinching and ask, what did this experience come to show me about myself? It might have been rejection, betrayal, failure, loss, or regret. But whatever form your pain took, it shaped you. It forced you to grow up, make changes, protect yourself, or open your eyes. There is no growth without discomfort, and there's no direction without reflection. When you look at your pain honestly, you stop seeing it as a setback and start seeing it as information. It teaches you what matters. It exposes what you've outgrown. It helps you understand what you never want to experience again. And all of that wisdom is fuel to build a life that actually means something. Most people rush to forget. They just want to move on and act strong. But real strength is not forgetting. It's remembering with clarity and still choosing to rise. You don't have to relive every detail, but you do have to extract the lesson. What did that hard season reveal about your habits, your relationships, your mindset? What warning signs did you miss? What truths did you finally face? That knowledge is priceless, and without it, you'll walk into the future repeating patterns that once destroyed you. Purpose begins when you stop pretending you're untouched and start digging for meaning. Pain forces you to slow down, to reflect, to see life different. And in that stillness, clarity often shows up. Sometimes the very thing that broke you was also pointing you toward your next step. But you were too distracted or too hurt to notice. Now is your chance to go back and see clearly. Maybe you were in the wrong environment. Maybe you trusted the wrong people. Maybe you gave too much and lost yourself. That clarity becomes your edge. It sharpens your judgment. It teaches you how to protect your energy and build a better future. People who find purpose aren't the ones who had it easy. They're the ones who turned pain into direction. They didn't avoid the hurt. They didn't numb it. They faced it head on, took what they needed, and left the rest. That's your job now. No more playing the victim. No more hiding behind the past. Look at your lowest moments and pull out every bit of wisdom they gave you. If it taught you discipline, write that down. If it taught you self-respect, keep it close. These lessons are more valuable than anything you'll read in a book. You'll know you've learned from your pain when it stops making you bitter and starts making you wise. Bitterness means you're still stuck. Wisdom means you've grown. It means you've processed it, accepted it, and used it to move forward. Don't rush the process, but don't avoid it either. Set aside time. Sit alone. Think about what hurt, and then think harder about what it changed in you. That change is not weakness. It's evidence that you're evolving. And evolution is where purpose begins. You're not here to stay the same. You're here to transform. Nobody else can do this work for you. People can encourage you, but they can't reach into your life and pull out meaning from your experiences. That's your responsibility. You lived through it. You survived it. Now use it. Don't waste your pain by acting like it didn't matter. It mattered. Shaped you. But the only way it serves you now is if you understand what it built inside of you. Did it make you more patient, more alert, more disciplined? That's your foundation. That's how you start building a version of yourself that knows where it's going. There's no straight path to purpose, but pain often clears the way. It removes the people, the habits, and the lies that once blinded you. When you stop seeing your past as a burden and start seeing it as a training ground, everything changes. You gain self-respect. You stop settling. You stop being impressed by things that once distracted you. That shift puts you on track. You stop chasing what's popular and start following what's meaningful. You stop pretending and start pursuing what actually fits who you've become. That's how the pieces start coming together. You don't need to wait for everything to feel right. Start where it hurts. The pain you carry isn't proof that something's wrong with you. It's proof that you've lived. And if you've lived through pain, you've earned the right to lead yourself with purpose. But you have to lead from truth. Face the facts. Embrace the lessons. Use what you've learned to shape your future. Don't just survive. Build something with the pieces. Something strong. Something honest. Something that reflects what you've been through and what you've overcome. That's how you earn direction. That's how you find yourself again. The answers won't come from avoiding what broke you. They come from standing in front of it, unafraid, and saying, I'm not who I was, and I'm never going back there. You don't need to be angry about it. You just need to be clear. This is your time to rise, not just from the pain, but with the lesson in hand. That's where strength comes from. That's where clarity begins. Your purpose isn't hiding from your story. It's buried in it. And once you dig it out, nobody can take it from you. Not now, not ever. Number 9. Get around people who challenge your thinking daily. If you're serious about finding your purpose, take a hard look at the people you spend the most time with. Are they helping you think sharper or keeping you comfortable with average? The truth is, if everyone around you agrees with everything you say, you're not growing. You're staying the same. Comfort isn't where purpose lives. Growth happens when someone looks you in the eye and says, you can do more than this. That kind of push may not feel good, but it's necessary. You need people who make you question your limits and force you to aim higher every day. Your thinking shapes your direction, and your environment shapes your thinking. That means the conversations you're having daily are either expanding your mind or narrowing it. If you keep surrounding yourself with people who avoid challenges, who settle for just enough, or who talk big but never act, you'll start doing the same. You'll lower your standards without even noticing it. But when you're around people who think deeply, ask tough questions, and expect results, you rise. You start seeing things differently. You stop making excuses. That's how you start building a purpose-driven mindset. Being challenged doesn't mean being attacked. It means being sharpened. The right people will never let you sit in your comfort zone for too long. They'll call you out when you start slipping. They'll remind you of the goals you talked about. They'll ask why you haven't started. That's the kind of accountability most people avoid. But it's the kind that leads to progress. Purpose doesn't show up when you're surrounded by yes men. It shows up when someone pushes you to think clearer, work harder, and take yourself more seriously. Those voices are worth keeping close. You can't grow if you're always the smartest person in the room. You need people who see things from different angles. People who've lived through different challenges. People who've built what you want to build. If you always surround yourself with people who think like you miss the chance to stretch your mind. The best ideas often come from disagreement, from debate, from contrast. That friction is healthy. It sharpens your thinking and helps you uncover what you really believe. And the more clearly you think, the faster you find the path that belongs to you. Don't let pride keep you stuck in circles that don't challenge you. Sometimes the hardest thing to do is leave people behind. Not because they're bad, but because they're no longer helping you grow. Growth requires difficult choices. You can't become who you're meant to be while trying to please everyone. Start seeking out people who live with intention, people who speak with clarity, people who don't just talk about goals, but live them. Even if they intimidate you at first, that's okay. Being around people who raise the bar is how you grow into someone better. Look for people who ask more than they answer. People who listen carefully, think deeply, and speak with purpose. These are the people who make you pause and reflect. They challenge you without disrespect. They disagree without tearing you down. They offer insight, not just opinions. And being around them daily changes your thinking. You become more curious, more disciplined, more open-minded. These changes matter because your purpose isn't just about what you do, it's about how you think. And your thoughts become stronger when they're tested by other strong minds. Be intentional about your circle. Don't let your relationships form by accident. Choose people who inspire you to do better. Choose people who make you uncomfortable in the right way, who remind you that your excuses are not good enough, who push you to take action even when you don't feel ready. Those people are rare, but they're out there. And when you find them, value them. Show up ready. Be willing to listen. Be willing to change. You'll know you've found the right people when their presence makes you more focused, more honest, and more determined. If your current circle doesn't challenge you, it might be time to change it. That doesn't mean cutting everyone off. It means creating more space for voices that stretch you. Start small. Read books by thinkers who make you question your habits. Watch talks that challenge your beliefs. Join groups where people are building things you respect. The goal isn't to copy them, it's to learn from them, to upgrade your thinking by exposure to better thinking. The more you expand your mind, the more you realize how much more is possible for your life. You don't find your purpose in isolation. You find it in community, in discussion, in challenge, in growth. Your mind is powerful, but it needs fuel. And the best fuel is connection with people who are going somewhere meaningful. Get around builders. Get around thinkers. Get around doers. Let their discipline sharpen yours. Let their clarity challenge your confusion. Let their standards raise your own. Every great life is shaped by great relationships, and every great purpose is born in the presence of truth, challenge, and accountability. So ask yourself honestly, who are you around, and what are they doing to your thinking? If your conversations aren't helping you think sharper, act bolder, and believe deeper, then it's time to make a shift. Your life reflects your environment, and your environment starts with your relationships. Choose wisely. Choose intentional. Choose people who remind you of who you're capable of becoming. That's how you build direction. That's how you strengthen purpose. That's how you move forward with clarity. By surrounding yourself with minds that make yours stronger every single day. Number 10, live each day like your future depends on it. Start by understanding that every day counts. Not someday, not next week, today. Your future isn't built in a single breakthrough. It's built in what you do when no one's watching. Most people wait for a perfect moment to start living with direction. That moment never comes. Life doesn't wait. It rewards those who show up today like everything depends on their decisions. Your habits, your effort, your thoughts, they're all shaping something. If you live like your time matters, it starts to. That urgency is what moves your life forward with clarity. Stop acting like you have forever. You don't. Every day you waste pretending, avoiding, or procrastinating is a day your future loses strength. Your purpose doesn't arrive by luck, it's earned through effort. When you start treating each morning like it's a step towards something meaningful, you begin to change. You start cutting the excuses, you stop giving in to distractions. You show up with a different mindset, one rooted in responsibility. One focused on becoming someone worth remembering. You don't drift your way into purpose. You commit to it. And that commitment starts by respecting your day. Purpose doesn't belong to people who just hope it. It belongs to people who work. The future you want will only happen if you start acting like it's possible right now. That means waking up with intention. That means doing the uncomfortable tasks. That means showing up even when the results are slow. Your future self is shaped by what you tolerate now. If you keep wasting days, you're not just delaying results. You're teaching yourself that average is acceptable. Don't wait until you hit rock bottom to change. Decide that today is too valuable to waste on things that don't matter. Ask yourself, if today were the only day I had to prove I'm serious, what would I do? That kind of thinking brings focus. It helps you separate what's important from what's just noise. You don't need 100 opportunities. You need one day lived well, over and over again. That's how confidence grows. That's how discipline is built. Most people overestimate what they'll do next year and underestimate what they can do today. If you take care of today with excellence, tomorrow starts to take care of itself. Purpose shows up when your actions match your ambition. There is no reset button on wasted time. You don't get those hours back. You don't get to redo weeks that slip through your fingers. That's why urgency matters. Not panic, but seriousness. You must carry yourself like your future is watching, because it is. Every skipped task, every half-hearted effort, every lazy hour, it stacks up, but so does every focused step, every choice to grow, every decision to show up when it's easier to quit. The life you want is built on moments that feel small but are actually shaping your direction. Live like they count. You can't keep saying someday and expect your life to change. Someday isn't real. It's a lie people tell themselves to stay comfortable. If you're going to find your purpose, that starts with showing up today with clarity. Do what matters. Cut what doesn't. Stop putting off what you know needs your attention. Time is not waiting for your confidence. It rewards your action. The truth is, you are either building your future or delaying it. There's no in between. So what are you doing with the hours in front of you right now? Your purpose doesn't need grand speeches or perfect motivation. It needs discipline. It needs direction. It needs you to live like your actions are making a difference. Because they are. You're creating patterns that either build or break your progress. It's not about massive results overnight. It's about showing up when no one else does. It's about making the right decisions, even when no one's clapping for you. Purpose doesn't require applause. It requires commitment. Real commitment. The kind that shows up daily without needing permission or validation. That's how lives change. Through ordinary days, lived with extraordinary focus. Live like your future is being written today. Because it is. The energy you bring, the standards you set, the discipline you follow, it all echoes into your future. One day you'll either thank yourself or regret the way you handled these hours. Choose actions that your future self will respect. Stop wasting time proving things to people who don't matter. Stop dragging through the day like you're a victim of time. You're not a victim. You have the power to direct your time with purpose. That starts by acting like every single moment matters. Every day gives you two options: stay the same or grow. Most people pick the easy one, but if you want more, you have to give more. You have to wake up ready to build, ready to focus, ready to move. That fire doesn't come from motivation. It comes from the decision to live like your life has meaning. And it does. But meaning doesn't just appear. It's built through action, through showing up for yourself when it would be easier to give in, through choosing purpose over pleasure, through doing the work without making excuses. Now is the time to take your days seriously. Not tomorrow, not when things feel perfect. Now, you've got time. Yes, but not unlimited. And if you don't treat today with the respect it deserves, you'll waste another one. Don't do that. Don't trade your future for comfort. Don't sleepwalk through the hours meant to shape you. Live each day like your future depends on it. Because it does. And when you start doing that, everything begins to shift. Your confidence grows, your focus sharpens, and slowly your purpose becomes clear. Not because you found it, but because you built it. Finding your purpose isn't a one-time event. It's a daily decision to live with meaning, to stop pretending, and to start building a life that reflects who you really are. The answers won't come from the outside. They'll come from what you do next. So don't wait. Don't overthink it. Start now. Take action on what you heard today. Clean up your habits. Question your routines. And get honest about what truly matters to you. Purpose is not given, it's built. And the ones who build it are the ones who take their life seriously. One real decision at a time.